Happy Tu Bishvat. What is Tu Bishvat? It's the holiday when we Jews celebrate the counting of the years of the trees. I'm going to show you a teaching about Tu Bishvat that we had with the Israel High community, which I cut into segments. Because there are parts that are personal to our community, but you already know that anyone who wants to be part of the community and participate in these events, which we keep very private among ourselves, you can sign up at the link I leave in the description of this video, and here I share it with you. Greetings.
And there seems to be a contradiction or a relationship between the spiritual and earthly work. I would like a bit of context, maybe in light of what we are living through now, the war in Israel. Is there any special connection this year between the war we are living through and this special celebration of nature and trees?
Yes. It is written in the Torah in Deuteronomy 20-19, there is a law that you must not destroy fruit trees during times of war. That is, if the law for Israel says that when you are besieging an enemy town in war and there are fruit trees, you cannot destroy them. And this is a revolution on a strategic level, because one might say, well, if I want to besiege my enemy, what I need to do is exactly that. Well, no. The Torah says you can't do that. What does Adam do? Adam eats a fruit. Yes, he eats from the tree. So everything we're doing isn't that strange, because if what caused man to fall was eating a fruit, then of course we'd start eating fruit. I mean, aren't we repeating Adam's mistake?
We should stay away from fruit.
Of course. We should separate ourselves from the world, right? Be more spiritual instead of doing what Adam did. Because if Adam, that was the mistake, well, no. Anyone who has read the Torah in detail will understand that what was actually said to Adam was, you may eat from every tree in the garden. And then he was told about the tree of life and the tree of knowledge. That is, first the human being must understand that the world is at his disposal. And this is something people talk about a lot in Kabbalistic teachings, in Midrash and in all of that. Why was Adam created on the last day of creation? Because the world was created for Adam. That's the first point to keep in mind. What we actually come to do on Tu Bishvat, and I'm going to relate it now to the war, is exactly that. We come to repair where Adam fell. We are going to use the world for something good. That is to say, if these nations, for example, I don't want to be too explicit, but just look at what happened in Gaza. When Israel withdrew in 2005, Gaza had been part of Israel before that. Israel withdraws unilaterally. And do you know what Israel leaves in Gaza? Greenhouses. It's so impressive that Gaza is in the south of Israel. The south of Israel is practically desert. Here, something actually blooms. It's because Israeli technology is applied to the soil. With all these systems, and for Gaza to bear fruit, it's because it's truly a miracle. As they say, it's the result of a lot of Israeli work that was done for years, for decades. When Israel withdrew from Gaza, it handed over this tool, which is the greenhouses, the ability to feed Gaza, so much so that when Gaza was under Israeli control, Gaza exported. Not only did it feed Israel, it was exported outside of Israel. And it's possible that you have consumed fruits from Gaza. That is very possible, because I don't know if you've been to supermarkets and seen something like Israeli orange. Well, yes, sometimes the fruits from Israel that arrived outside of Israel actually came from Gaza. How is it possible that as soon as Israel leaves Gaza, the first thing this radical group does is burn the greenhouses? I mean, greenhouses that cost millions of dollars, and well, okay, they were, let's say, foolish enough to burn the greenhouses. The world gave them resources to create, and instead, these radicals, instead of creating, destroyed. So, here's the point. You have the fruit, but what do you do with the fruit? Think of it more conceptually. If you have the world that Hashem gave you, because Hashem created the world for mankind, you have this world. What do you do with the world? Do you build or do you destroy? This is the lesson that humanity has. With the same fruit, you can eat it all and truly make paradise or not, or you can fall. So here are the views on whether what the enemies of Israel did was to take the world and destroy us. And by us, I mean you too, not just the state of Israel, but you as well. Our goal is exactly this, to remember that Hashem gave us the world to make it better. So regarding war, it's exactly this. Why don't we destroy fruit trees? Because the world belongs to Hashem, and Hashem decides what to do with his world. And it gives us that feeling, that reminder that even though we are defending ourselves, even with all of this, we must remember that the land belongs to Hashem, the world belongs to Hashem. That Y por eso, by the way, do you know why the Torah starts with Bereshit? It's well known, since if the Torah is a book of laws, why not begin with laws? It starts by telling me about the creation of the world and all of this. Why? Because that's the point. Hashem wants to tell us that the land was created by him. That's the whole point. And Hashem decides what to do with the land. So that's a point that we as people need to keep in mind, that the world was given to us precisely to build and not to destroy. Even when we are at war, in response to your question, even when we think we are at war, which is destruction, suffering, this is for building. Always do something good and not something bad.
It's okay. Or rather, what I mean is, let's use the tree as a metaphor for the human being, and vice versa.
It's very interesting that everything is connected. There are no coincidences. In fact, this very passage, this very verse that talks about not destroying fruit trees, as it goes on to say that man is like the tree of the field. Man is the tree of the field, like that, as if the human being is like a tree. But the other way around, many sages of Israel, like the Maharal of Prague, interpret it this way. Does he reference it? This leans more toward Kabbalah. Sin irme muy hardcore, pero because man is like a tree. But the other way around, because his roots are in the heavens and he bears fruit on earth.
Wow.
Wow, should I? Turns out
It's a different kind of respect. Once again, the metaphor is celebrated. Please again.
it is written in the Torah, Deuteronomy 20, verse 19, that man is Adam, even that man is the tree of the field. But our sages teach us that he is like a tree, but upside down, because its roots are in the sky and it gives its fruits on the earth, that is downward. And is it? Anyone who has any notion of Kabbalah knows that in fact Kabbalah is basically expressed by what it is. The Sephirot, what is it? And what form do the Sephirot take? A tree. And not only that, many of the words in the Zohar represent the Sephirot as a human being, the head, the arm, all of this. And in fact, the Sephirot actually descend. They descend from, let's say you receive from the higher Sephirot, and they converge in what is Yesod and Malkut, that is toward the world, without going very, very deep into it. But that's exactly what you were saying about Rav Mikhail, about understanding what it is. Think about it. How far can gratitude to Hashem go? If I can give thanks for a date, I can give thanks for a pixel. This, you all, the fact that we can see you, that we were allowed to reach a time when there were scientists who made pixels, so that I can get to know you and through this audiovisual medium and be able to listen to you, ladies and gentlemen. This, every detail of the world is something to thank Hashem for. It's really impressive. And if you start with a date, which is something natural, obviously it's a process that Hashem makes. But the thing is, that's the point of everything in the world. Like I was saying before, everything we do as human beings, we take from these roots we have in the heavens and we give those fruits here on earth. That's where it's going. That's what I would aim for.
I really love what he said and also the metaphor he showed, just like him. The human being is like an upside down tree whose roots are celestial, and at the end of the day, he is earthly. It makes me, let's say, also bring up a very, very important topic that personally concerns me nowadays. In the era we are living in, which are the fruits of Hashem, the divine fruits, which are everything that nature gives us and what human beings produce. I see that human beings are caught up in an obsession, in a kind of madness. Running, not at 180 kilometers per hour, but at 400 kilometers per hour. He is desperately trying to innovate, create more and more products and more products and more products to such an extent. Let's talk about wealth. The other day at the supermarket here, let me tell you something. I saw 50 meters of conditioner and shampoo alone. 50 meters of products. The human being is going crazy, and I ask myself the question, is the greatest fruit in the world the human being? Is it the human being? Is it the greatest glory on earth? But this is a double-edged sword. It's a double-edged sword because the human being can build a divine world, a divine world. So in this regard, it seems to me that we are living in a time that I feel is more than any other time of our era. Spirituality, biblical teaching, the teaching of the divine word becomes not a nice to have, but a must have for human beings. That is to say, my dear, try to follow the model of bearing good fruit, not fruit that destroys. And I would like to hear your vision. How can we give advice to all the dear members and also to humanity? How can they draw on their own strength like a tree and bear good, healthy fruit instead of contaminated fruit?
Yes, but first the story. The first time I went to the United States, I went to LA, Los Angeles.